is your AI briefing for June 14, 2026, with 12 stories. Story 1. Amazon security research reportedly led to the White House's Anthropic Fable ban. Wall Street Journal reports Amazon's cybersecurity research in CEO Andy Jassy's White House talks helped trigger an export control directive that forced Anthropic to cut off access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5. The directive is an export control move that barred Anthropic from supplying two of its models to the Chinese market. The restriction intensified scrutiny of cloud and model transfer ties among Amazon, Anthropic, and U.S. officials. Amazon's research looks less like neutral analysis than policy ammo, and the real winner is AWS-friendly geopolitics while Anthropic's customers get cut off. Story 2. OpenAI faces investigation from state attorneys general. State attorneys general are probing OpenAI over ad policies and health data handling, seeking clarity on compliance mechanisms and potentially triggering remedies for consumers and regulators. Investigators are examining whether OpenAI misrepresented ad targeting practices and retained sensitive health information without adequate consent controls. The inquiry can lead to enforcement actions, mandated disclosures, and new data handling requirements across its products. State AGs are finally treating OpenAI like a regulated company, and the real story is whether its ad stack and health data handling survive scrutiny. Story 3. AI meets biology. How cellular intelligence is redefining stem cell therapy. AI-native cellular models are speeding stem cell candidate design by predicting cell states and optimizing differentiation targets, enabling faster, cheaper experimental cycles for regenerative therapies. Researchers are using machine learning to map gene regulatory and signaling patterns that steer cells toward precise therapeutic lineages. This reduces failed lab iterations and improves the odds that engineered cells will function reliably after transplantation. Big promise, but the real win is faster candidate design. Patients still need those AI-predicted cell states to survive messy biology, not just prettier experimental cycles. Story 4. Visa is handling AI-prompted transactions for OpenAI, but can you trust it? Visa is enabling OpenAI-driven, AI-prompted card purchases, integrating model-generated instructions into authorization flows to improve checkout speed while raising new fraud, prompt manipulation, and authorization risk questions. Visa's system would let OpenAI agents initiate purchases without a traditional human checkout, pushing card authorization into software-driven commands. That increases the importance of merchant controls, transaction limits, and verification steps to block malicious prompts or unintended spending. Visa turns ChatGPT into a checkout middleman. But the real winners are fraudsters probing prompt injection, and the losers are users who'll be blamed when model-generated purchases go sideways. Story 5. KPMG pulls report on AI usage due to apparent hallucinations. KPMG reportedly withdrew an internal report on AI use after AI-written claims appeared to hallucinate, tightening verification workflows before sharing findings with clients. The withdrawn document was meant to document how AI was being used internally, but several passages were found to contain fabricated or unsupported statements. The incident prompted stricter review steps for future client-facing materials to reduce the risk of misleading conclusions. KPMG's AI report hallucinated about AI, so the real product is tighter review gates and less trust in vendor-generated insights. Story 6. Police officer investigated for using AI to create evidence in multiple cases. Derbyshire police investigated an officer after AI-generated evidence appeared in multiple cases, raising safeguards concerns over how admissible records are created and verified before court use. The material allegedly touched several investigations, suggesting the officer used generated content as if it were corroborating casework. Internal scrutiny now has to determine whether any filings, notes, or exhibits were contaminated before they reached prosecutors or courts. This isn't AI evidence, it's a chain of custody nightmare. Police lose credibility, defendants gain appeal fuel, and courts inherit synthetic paperwork with no clear verification trail. Story 7. Google Photos prepares massive video remix AI upgrade. Google Photos is developing an AI video remix feature that will let users automatically generate edited remix videos from existing clips, likely expanding creative tooling beyond manual edits. The tool appears to use generative editing to transform existing footage into new cutdowns, rather than applying simple filters or trims. That could make quick social-ready video creation far easier for casual users inside Google Photos. Google Photos is turning clips into auto-edited remix videos, which means less manual fiddling for users and more AI confetti layered over your family footage. Story 8. Surprisingly different, Microsoft's new AI-powered terminal reimagines the command line. Microsoft's new AI-powered intelligent terminal embeds AI agents into the existing Windows terminal workflow, letting developers interpret commands and automate assistance without changing the terminal UI. It interprets natural language prompts into terminal actions and keeps the existing Windows terminal interface intact. Developers can automate routine commands and get assistance without switching tools or learning a new shell. Not a reimagined command line, just ChatGPT stapled onto Windows terminal so developers can translate commands instead of learning them. Story 9. Microsoft CEO admits AI token maxing is addictive, but offers a simple fix. Satya Nadella told Microsoft staff to cut AI token maxing behavior by changing how they prompt, aiming to reduce wasted tokens immediately and improve answer quality at internal scale. The fix is to ask for fewer, more focused outputs instead of long multi-part prompts that inflate token usage and blur the answer. That can lower compute waste across Microsoft teams while making responses more direct and usable. Token maxing is corporate slang for paying for sloppy prompting, and Nadella's fix is basically use the tool better, good for budgets, not for AI mystique. Story 10. A jazz label covered an AI-generated hit to make a point the music industry has been avoiding. A jazz label repurposed a faceless AI hit into a proof of concept to argue against industry avoidance, releasing a tool that operationalizes human versus AI attribution rather than merely critiquing it. The label embedded an attribution system that flags whether a recording was created by humans or generated by AI, turning the release into a working test of provenance detection. The tool is meant to give labels, platforms, and listeners a concrete way to audit music catalogs as synthetic tracks proliferate. Nice inversion. The jazz label turned a faceless AI hit into a marketing tool, proving attribution anxiety is now a product feature, not an artistic one. Story 11. The future of Hollywood isn't feeding prompts into vanilla Gen AI models. Hollywood struggles to ship Gen AI-ready films because current video models only generate brief clips, forcing studios to rely on prompt pipelines rather than end-to-end, pay-ready productions customers can watch. Studios still need long-shot continuity, character consistency, and editable timelines, which today's clip generators cannot preserve across an entire scene or feature. That forces filmmakers into fragmented workflows with heavy manual stitching, limiting adoption by production teams and distributors. Hollywood doesn't need prompt cosplay. Today's video models still spit out cliplets, so the real winners are vendors selling demos and the losers are studios chasing full-length magic. Story 12. McDonald's new AI drive-thru has to prove it can handle hungry people. McDonald's is piloting Google-backed Archie at drive-thrus to recover from a viral ordering bot failure, aiming for boring speed under real hungry customer pressure. The pilot will be judged on whether it can parse messy speech, background noise, and accents without derailing the order line. If it fails, the company risks another public embarrassment at the counter and slower throughput for franchisees. McDonald's isn't selling AI, it's selling fewer bot-induced faceplants. Archie wins only if it survives real hungry people, not demo day politeness. That is the briefing for today.